want the ball?
The Aces have won the toss and select to receive.
Second and 10. Ball at the...
I'm good for you. I'm good for you.
As the throw is incomplete, intended for Dan Daly. So as I was saying, Daly is the tight end, number 88. Jet Christie is a wide receiver, number 19. Trevor Farrell is number 13. He's a wide receiver, along with Hunter Jones, number 10. The Barnhart combo. Number 31, Greg, and number 26, John, are the corners. Jay Ringgold is the free safety. As Drew drops back to throw, throws a third down swing pass to Swearingen, and he gets wrapped up after a pickup of one, and a quick punt coming from Indy.
Swearingen careful to make the catch there on that first play from scrimmage. He bobbled it. Unfortunately, it was delivered behind him. Having to spin around and corral it cost him the opportunity to turn that into a bigger play and possibly a first down, Colin.
Seventh-year man, A.J. Levy, the strong safety, back returning this punt from Jake D'Antonio. As it is away, high in the air, and Levy will return it, spinning across, and gets knocked down at the 35. So we saw Colin Hart go for 200 plus last week. He's the guy to watch offensively for Sioux Falls.
Yeah, he's got a motor. He broke off many long runs last week.
The receivers are Sean Harrelson, Ray Lynn, number 17, A.J. Warren, number 15, and Riley Porter, number 87. Craig Hearn, number 88, is the tight end. Julian Tyree is the quarterback, and the first hand plays a handoff to Colin Hart, who breaks the tackle and motors across to the 43-yard line for about a 7-yard pickup.
Well, and just like that, they get ahead of the chains.
We have a 2nd and 2 situation for Julian Tyree, who's been with Sioux Falls along with A.J. Levy for every season they've been in the league. This is Sioux Falls' 7th season now. Tyree back to throw. Over the middle he goes, complete. And it's 1st and 10 as the pass goes to the Canadian Moose, Craig Hearn, to the Indy 43. First and 10, and the throw goes out to Hart, who gets blasted by Brandon Haight, number 52, the inside linebacker. Let's set the rest of that Indy defense for you. The corners are Von Siniuk, number 21, Johnny Bravo, a waiver wire signing in week 4, number 33. And the free safeties are Peyton Ellison, number 20, and Steve Vitek, number 24, along with number 29, Paul Connolly. Here we have a 2nd and 5 for Sioux Falls, and here's the stretch play going out to Hart, who carries a couple defenders forward to the Indy 35 to make it 3rd down and 2.
Nearly drags them across the line again for a first down there. Didn't get much blocking help past the line of scrimmage, but he turns it into 3rd and short.
And they empty the backfield out with a couple wide receivers. Ashley Anderson, number 33, lined up in a tight end position. It's Tyree to throw, has all day, fires over the middle, and it is complete to A.J. Warren to the Indy 21-yard line. And the Sparrows are on the move here in the early going.
Just 3 feet outside the red zone on their first possession. And a nifty thread the needle pass. I was holding my breath on 3rd and short.
Well, it's been a really interesting season, as you mentioned, Rick. Not to mention that there was an ownership change at the very top of this organization as Easy Temple took over about a quarter of the way through the season, as Tyree completes it out to Lynn, and Lynn will pick up 6 yards.
I had mentioned in the open before we had those technical difficulties that it's not exactly the season that the Spitfires were hoping for. A lot of excitement and energy around the brand and the new ownership, but I think they're just taking a while to get their legs under them, Colin.
2 receivers to the bottom. Hard to single back. Tyree back to throw. Swings it out. The Hard is wide open, and he goes down to the 1. He said they didn't get into the goal line.
Oh, wow.
Ellison ran him down and stopped him just short.
Nobody knows
where the running back is.
Right. Well, it looked like he might have broke the plane with the ball there as he gets sort of somersault tackled. No, I guess his elbow's down short. It's a good view right there.
All right. 1st and goal opportunity from about the inch line. Here's that 3-man back look for Sioux Falls. Ashley Anderson and an extra tight end in the backfield. Join Hart. Here's Hart on the wide carry. Oh, we actually lost the yard. Going backwards. Von Siniak laying down the lumber.
Something you don't see a lot lately with Hart and the ball, and that's negative yardage.
Here's 2nd goal from exactly at the 1. That would still have been inside the 1 previous play. Same formation, 1 receiver to the top of the formation. Tyree, same play, different result as they block him into the end zone. Touchdown, Sioux Falls.
A road grader, the Indy D, into the end zone. And that's a stroll in the park on that one.
Brandon Haight taking over Easy Temple's spot. Temple, of course, the defensive tackle who set the single game record for sacks in a game by a defensive lineman with 11 against St. Louis last year.
Forgot about that. That was amazing.
And the extra point is up and good. So with 6:06 left in the first, Sioux Falls leads 7-0. And speaking of Sioux Falls, here are some relevant playoff scenarios as far as the playoff picture goes, despite the Sparrows having a spot locked up. A win against Indy plus the New Orleans win drops the Aztecs into the wild card. Just any old win in general keeps the Sparrows in the top 6. But if they were to lose the New Orleans win, Sioux Falls gets to play on wild card Wednesday. The return by Indianapolis comes up to about the 34.
Nifty little step over move there to gain a few extra yards. And let's see what your Indianapolis Spitfires have dialed up for the second possession.
T.D. Drews put up some ridiculous numbers. Bunch of 400-plus passing yard performances. He even put up a couple 500-plus performances in some games, but his team is gone counting this game 5 quarters without any points as they start with a throw to Swearingen to the sidelines. And Keith Swearingen ran over a defender. Oh, he is outrunning A.J. Levy to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, 14, to 1, down to the 3. I thought he was going to score, but the rookie John Barnhart saves what could have been a touchdown.
And Barnhart had to decide to take that angle. Watch this right there. From about, he's not even in the picture. Here he comes from all the way from the other side of the field, from at least the 50. He just sprints for the pylon, and he gets there.
And that was the ever scroll block of the game, Rick.
Oh!
Thrown by some of the linemen now playing run support for old number 32 as Drew is up under center. And Thomas, touchdown, Drew. Back to throw, goes to the end zone. It's knocked away. Jay Ringgold on the coverage.
And we didn't get a chance. There's a lot to talk about on that play, including the overdrive gear that Swearingen had as he gets the corner and just turns on the Jets. But here, almost picked off.
Don't forget, Ever Scroll by Movement blocks blue light to protect your eyes from digital screens. Please don't hurt your eyes by checking out SFL Action. Protect them and see every moment using the promo code SimulationFL at purchase from Movement.com. A portion of your purchase supports the SFL through a partnership. Movement, premium watches and sunglasses. Meanwhile, back on the field, Swearingen puts a big stiff arm and he'll pick up a yard for his troubles.
You know, they like that swing pass to the left side of the formation, Colin, and why not? It's starting to work.
Haven't seen a traditional handoff to Swearingen yet. Might be a time to try it here if you're Indianapolis.
Ooh. Evil plan is working.
Darryl Treble lines up over the ball. Drew under center. Swinging out to Swearingen one more time, and he's into the end zone. So the running back catches a couple big passes on this drive and powers the Spitfire down the field and into the end zone.
Well, nothing fancy there as they just keep running the same play.
Adam Vinchek to try the PAT attempt. To tie this game up at 7. And the PAT is good. So with 7:56 to go in the first, Indy ties it up at 7.
Yeah, and what's exciting about that for Indianapolis fans is Indy's been outscored 313 to 241 so far this season. And they just matched touchdown with touchdown.
So Vinchek is ready for the kickoff. And Levy's back deep. He will field this at about his 10-yard line. Up the middle he goes, following his blockers, and gets knocked down at about the 30. Of course, this is a big night as far as playoff seeding goes for everybody in the SFL. Julian Tyree saddles up under center. He's got Colin Hart in the backfield. 3 wide receivers. 2 to the top, 1 to the bottom. As over the middle he goes, and we have MeUndies Laundry on the field.
There's your MeUndies Laundry, the first of the game.
We have defensive pass interference called against the rookie signing Brandon Haight. He's 6'5", 280. So the big fella can't exactly hide himself. And I'll tell you about MeUndies underwear sponsorship in about a minute. As we have a split shotgun look from Sioux Falls on this first down and 10 situation following the penalty. Apparently I can't count. Anyway, back to throw. Warren over the middle will pick up 9 yards on that slant pattern.
Just a little slant in front of the sagging linebackers and secondary.
MeUndies are the world's most comfortable underwear. Visit MeUndies.com/SimulationFL for 15% off your purchase, which will help support the SFL through our partnership. Give the gift of comfort with 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Whoa!
As Colin Hart will find his way to the end zone, he explodes on 2nd down and 1. Touchdown, Sioux Falls.
Not only does he blow up the MeUndies spot, which we'll redo here in a second, he blows up the Spitfire defense. We saw like 49 of those plays last week, Colin.
As Hart basically ran through the entire defense, wasn't even touched. So back to MeUndies. Get the gift of comfort with 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Free shipping and returns. Signature soft and stretchy. MeUndies. As the extra point is through, and it's 14-7, and we still have 4 minutes to go in this quarter.
Now, Indy will indeed get another chance here to match touchdowns.
As Jones returns this up to the 28. We had Nathan Spratt in the chat saying, when is the playoffs? Well, newcomer, I'll answer that question for you. Wildcard Wednesday is coming up this week. And there'll be 2 sets of games to schedule, and who will be participating will be determined after all the games, including the one you're watching right now, are concluded. 1st and 10 for Indianapolis from their own 28-yard line. D.D. Drew under center will throw, and it's complete out of the bunch formation, and Jay Ringgold brings the defender down. That was Dan Daly, the converted wide receiver, playing tight end for the first time in his career.
That's yet another simple swing pass, well executed over to the left side of the formation, and Sioux Falls cannot get their act together, Colin, with that, to defend that. Nobody apparently had the tight end, or they were confused on whose responsibility the tight end was, because nobody covered him.
Nobody covered him indeed. Drew back to throw, swings it out again to Swearingen. Has all kinds of running room out there, and will pick up about 7 yards first.
That's a nice pickup, but Swearingen showing an astounding lack of moves as he plows straight into the defender. Maybe he thought he was going to bowl him over.
Welcome into the chat, Eddie 2 Scoops Gage. Welcome, as well as Joseph Clausen and AJ Levy and Jason 1347. As Swearingen again catches his 6th pass. He had 76 yards as he continues to add more to his total. He's up to the 40-yard line as he ran over Greg Barnhart with just a handful of shoulder. Here's a look at Alex Parker. He leads a defense that is pretty good in just about every category in terms of points per game, passing yards allowed, rushing yards allowed, and total yards allowed. They're all top 10. As Drew gets sacked by the Sparrows, number 90, Tyrone Black, came knifing in and got the rookie on his back for the sack.
Nice individual effort there. He just continues to push his way, gaining a little bit of leverage on the right side.
Look at these numbers for Swearingen. 6 catches for 85 yards. Those are numbers you typically see from a wide receiver.
At the end of the game.
And he gets his 8th catch here, and he only picks up 1, setting up a 3rd and very long situation.
Yeah, that's amazing. And owe it all to continue to call his number in a swing or some kind of short route design to the left side of the offensive formation.
Score from Las Vegas. The Fury are in front of the Desperados. 7-0. Las Vegas fighting for their playoff position. As the throw again goes out to Swearingen. This time he gets a block, but he's well short of the first down. And that'll be more room for the punter.
Indy will have run, I don't know, we don't have stat support tonight, but let's say they've run 22 plays, and Swearingen's been involved in, 18 of them or something. Here's your punt.
As they try to coffin corner this dealio, and Levy has to call a fair catch inside his 20, and they'll mark him at the 14.
Levy does the right thing with the fair catch there, but that's frustrating for him. He knows he's got some skills and would really like to see what he can do, but that's the smart play there. As the ball goes over to your Sioux Falls.
The Las Vegas Fury just scored. Robert Redford going off in a big way. Meanwhile, Colin Hart gets another carry here, runs over a defender, almost ran over a second one, or otherwise he could have gone a long way. He's up to 78 yards already. He had that 54-yard touchdown jaunt some time ago.
Wow.
I'm sure all the fans and who are rooting for the Sparrows who made the trip to Indianapolis are watching the New Orleans game on their phones, as Hart ran over about 2 people and required about 2 more to bring him down. That's a pickup of 7 for Hart. We have a 2nd and 2 situation from the own 36 as we're approaching the end of the first quarter of play. As the throw, was knocked away. They ran the flats out of the bunch, but the cornerback, or the backup strong safety, Mike Lower, swatted it down, setting up a 3rd and 2. We have 3rd and 2 from 36-yard line. 3-man backfield for Sioux Falls as Colin Hart gets the carry once again, and he'll get the first down, but he'll get some bruises in the hot tub as the big linebacker Haight knocks him down.
He pays for that, doesn't he?
That's the end of the first quarter. Sioux Falls 14, Indianapolis 7. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on YouTube. Welcome back, folks. As we had just started here in the second quarter, standard pro set backfield for Sioux Falls, 3 wide receivers. And Tyree, quick drop, fires over the middle, knocked away. Nice deflection by Von Siniuk. Came over in the offseason from Oklahoma City.
Nice breakup, potentially even a pick there, which Indy now does not want to go down by 2 scores here to Sioux Falls after a fine score leveling drive to tie it up at 7. They've given up a subsequent touchdown to Sioux Falls.
As the throw goes out to Ashley Anderson, the fullback, but he's going nowhere. Haight playing that lateral game perfectly, bringing him down at the line of scrimmage for no gain. That sets up a 3rd and very long situation.
Wow. Spitfire D suddenly getting some game. Am I right?
Yes, you are right. Hunter Jones saying, did I do a thing? Well, buddy, you've just been returning kickoffs. It's been the key Swearingen show offensively for your team. As the throw is intercepted.
There's that
Intercepted
pick.
by the Spitfire, and running back the other way is Von Sinia. Touchdown, Indianapolis.
And the Spitfire's roaring here.
Looking for A.J. Warren, and Tyree just flat out underthrew that thing.
We just talked about how the Spitfire defense suddenly seemed to be getting themselves organized, and with a pass breakup and a near pick, and right there, almost too easy.
That was Peyton Ellison, rather, who snagged that out of the air. And you got to love it. You got a bunch of rookies on this defense, 3 of them, in fact, all of them mid-waiver wire transactions. Good for Indianapolis as the extra point knots this thing up at 14 apiece with 10:15 to go in the second quarter.
Well, some people say, geez, Indy has a 3-8 record. Are they going to mail it in? Well, the answer is no. These games, even though you're not in the playoff picture, these games are very important to build your foundation for next season.
Joseph Clausen says, what a great defensive play, and I couldn't agree more. As he undercut the route there, and Levy will set his team up at their own 27 with this return.
So Sioux Falls will try again.
We're back to a 0-0 game, and there's that 3-man backfield again, the Sioux Falls special. I'm calling it. And a little mix-up in the backfield, but Hart gets going with a head of steam and picks up 3 yards.
Well, was that a mix-up or was that intentional? You go back to, say, the late 40s in college football, and there was a lot of that 3-man backfield, a lot of ball fake, a lot of movement.
Tyree, 63 yards, quarterback rating of 41.7. He threw those couple picks. Warren now lined up to the bottom of your picture. Indy counters with kind of a nickel look. Kind of inviting another run here from Falls, and they will. To the other side, Hart broke a tackle and picks up about 8 yards.
Wow, he manages to find not one but 2 wafer-thin hoes. Wafer-thin. And he squeezes through there.
Following the blocks from J.J. McGee, there's Ashley Anderson putting in the work. He used to be a contracted back for Sioux Falls when they first entered the league as an expansion team. And he had some spectacular third down conversions from distance. As now the Sparrows come out with 4 wide, trips to the bottom of your picture. And they will fake the draw. Tyree pumps. He goes over the middle, and it's dropped by Ashley Anderson. Incomplete.
Oh, and Anderson ran that route really well as it confused Indy's secondary. And he cuts across the formation coming out of that 3-man bunch and is uncovered and just can't corral that ball.
So look at Warren. Third-year man, 6'1". All these guys are over 6 foot, with Craig Hearn being the tallest at 6'5", 245, the tight end. He's on the field. To the bottom side of the formation, Hart lined offset a little bit, and he'll get the carry and pick up 5 yards, setting up a 3rd and 5. So, Rick, they stay on schedule, set them up with a relatively manageable 3rd down situation.
That's right. This is, you'd like to be 3rd and 3, but 3rd and 5 is very doable, especially for a team like Sioux Falls. And, boy, you look at their average per play yardage made last week, and should be easy for them. And there they go.
And the throw was over the middle, intended for the Canadian Moose, Craig Hearn, but he was double covered, and it was knocked away. 4th down coming up. Meanwhile, in the London-New Orleans game, the Knights just scored a touchdown to take a 6-3 lead, pending the extra point there in the first quarter with time remaining. We'll keep an eye on that game in particular, given its significance to the Sparrows. So we have a 4th and 5. Mulholt on the field to punt. Standing a little back of his own 30. Will boot it away. High in the air and returned up to the 29. The Spitfires will start.
Well, we've got ourselves tied at 14, pleasantly, unexpectedly, here in the second quarter, as Indy is trying to get themselves set for next season, and they're playing a good game and playing Sioux Falls very tough right now.
Here's Drew. Will swing it out again to Swearingen. This has been their money play, and they pick up 4 yards on first down. As T.D. Drew has already crossed the 100-yard mark with 8:10 and counting to go in this first half of play.
Outplaying Tyree here in the second. Still a lot of game to play, but it's good news for your Spitfires.
Empty backfield from Indy. Drew changing the protection in the line of scrimmage. He's staring at a standard nickel defense. Quick drop. Fires it out, and that is complete to the former Legion wide receiver, Trevor Farrell. Almost said Colin Farrell. I must have been thinking of the actor. As we set up a 3rd and 3 situation. We got a bunch to the bottom. You know, they've been running a screen with the bunch on the other side. And they will be doing it again. And Swearingen got 2, but he needed 3. And Tyrone McGee and Ringgold brought him down together. And it'll be another Indianapolis punt.
So close. Look at that.
As Howard Cosell would say, so has been their wont. W-O-N-T, as we await the punt. And the hang time is in the air. As Levy will return this to the 19. Where his club will take over. This ball game tied.
Not much there. And Sioux Falls obviously is going to focus on not having their drive stall out, Colin. They'd like to get some more points, even if it's just 3.
11 carries, 105 yards for Hart. 3 tight ends on the field for Sparrows out of a split backfield. They'll throw to the tight end, and it is complete for 5 yards. The number 89, Miles Portis. You know, when the fact that they've Hurt in there allows for so many other contract reserve defenders to get their hands on the ball.
Right.
So they line up in 3-man backfield set. And Hart will take the carry. He's been bottled up pretty well, but he sets up a 3rd and 1 as he picks up 2.
Right. Thought actually he was going to make the first down, but good recovery there by the Spitfires. You know, they run that three-man plus the QB in the backfield out of that tight bunch. And I think it's confusing.
They go trips to the top. Ray Lynn is in the slot. Tyree will throw it out to Hart instead. I thought he had the first down for a moment, but
sure looked like
again on the tackle.
Will we see a challenge flag here? I don't know.
And I tell you what, this young rookie has been impressive so far for Indianapolis defensively.
Absolutely.
And we will not see a challenge flag. The punt team will come out instead, and they'll put the onus back on their defense.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, only 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. You can afford to lose that timeout, but
as the fair catch is called at the Indy 36 by Hunter Jones.
Yeah, Indy will have that's decent field position to start this possession. Am I right?
Checking in some other games, Tulsa tacked down a field goal. It's now a 14-3 game in Vegas there. Meanwhile, back in our ball game, the Spitfire will throw another screen pass. These linemen are getting their cardio workout for sure. Swearingen has had 11 grabs for 98 yards, and he already has the receiving touchdown.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's got to be close to I mean, he could have a career game. That's a fabulous game, even if it were to stop right now.
And they say Sioux Falls is Swing City as the swing goes out again. This time he keeps his head down and his feet in bounds, picks up the first down to his own 47 as the clock winds under 5 minutes to go.
Well, Indy's found something with those swing passes, and Sioux Falls is still having trouble adjusting. They've gotten better in terms of big gain to small gain plays allowed, but.
And then they go the other side, and this time they might be wise to that trick as Tyrone McGee stops him in the backfield for a loss of 1.
Apparently the right side of the Indy line isn't as good at blocking that play as the left side is.
Bunch again to the bottom.
And someone's going to be open out of that bunch because Sioux Falls doesn't have the right D there.
And they continue to swing it. And they'll pick up 4 yards. No, 5 yards rather. It was 2nd and 11. I must not be very good at math today.
That was close. It was close.
3rd down and 6.
Same formation.
Except the top receiver is a little bit tighter than I remember.
Yep.
Sioux Falls in press coverage, however. Drew this time drops straight back to throw. Goes to the lone man out of bunch, and it's knocked away. A.J. Levy says, not in my neighborhood.
Who pancaked the guy right there after the tip for Sioux Falls? Pancaked the receiver for Indy. That was hilarious.
I tell you what, as I'm watching Blitz live over here, keeping an eye on things, Robert Redford just went long distance for the touchdown. We saw him do that the first play of the second half against Sioux Falls last week.
Is this one going to stop?
No, the gunner ran into the end zone.
It does not.
And Lower is feeling pretty low right now.
Well, he gave it a good ride. Can't control those bounces every time.
3-man backfield setup. Which pulling guard will be featured on this play? And they go to the left side, and Hart will pick up 4 yards.
Sioux Falls concentrating on running its 3-minute, 10-second offense here. They'd like to get down and score and end the half. That's the objective. Let's see how close they can get to that. Second and 4.
Go three tight ends in the game. Here's the throw out to Portis, and Portis, he'll get close. He'll be a yard short. It's Haight again on the
tantalizing.
No, that's VTAC on the tackle, rather.
It's tantalizingly close to a first down, and that's one of those where you, as a coaching staff, you just got to scratch your head. You're like, you were right there. You were right there.
He's like,
make that play, son.
And Tyree hard on it, 4th and inches.
Oh, they're going to say his knee hit before he dove across the line.
As number 53, Ryan Wall, among the guys to bring him down, and Mohalt again on for a punt.
The great wall of Ryan.
Is this
so the 3-minute, 10-second offense fizzles out at the 2:18 mark.
And remember, Indy received the ball, so it's critical for them that they get at least some kind of points on this drive. They'll start with 2:09 to go, and they have all their complement of timeouts.
They would love
for this rookie quarterback.
All right, they would love to end this half with some points. Put the pressure on Sioux Falls when they start the third.
Here is a empty backfield look, press coverage look from Sioux Falls as Drew surveys over a nickel defense. He will take a deep throw back, and he was almost sacked. The lineman parted the seas for Tyrone Summers, who was for Johnny Summers, rather, was more than happy to take that hit.
That was your almost play right there. Almost fumbled.
It's
almost sacked.
It's time to go trips to the top with Ailey isolated to
Sioux,
the bottom.
Sioux Falls press with just 2 over.
And they're showing blitz on this side. They back out of it, however. Over in the middle they go, and the pass is complete to number 19. That is Jet Christie. Set up a 3rd and 6.
Yeah.
We reached the quick 2-minute warning. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Grip Design delivers simple ways to keep your mouth healthy with timed vibrations. Brush head refills for $5 refilled every 3 months. Covered for life with free shipping for life. Use the link posted in the chat and your purchase will help support the SFL through our partnership. Quip, a more wholesome clean. Meanwhile, back on the field, Swearingen caught yet another swing pass, and this time he was bottled up like a genie.
Well, they go to their money play, and Sioux Falls shows some moxie on that and stuffs them, brings up 4th and 6. Sparrows are going to get another crack at this thing.
That's the punt. He's milking the clock. Just making sure. They get it, and it's Levy almost broke it open.
His spin move works, and he just couldn't elude the grasp of that last tackler, but still a good return with 1:07 left to go and all their timeouts.
We have a 1st and 10 for the Sparrows from the 14. There's a look at Craig Hearn. Good question, Kansas Phoenix. I don't know why they're swinging the Swearingen so much.
Well, at the base level, it's working.
Here's a swing pass out to Anderson, who gets out of bounds after a 6-yard pickup. Clock stops with 1:02 left as TD Drew is up to 132, and a touchdown. Julian Tyree now up to 78 yards, but he has an interception.
Yeah, Kansas Phoenix, by the way, the first play of the game was a swing pass that Swearingen just couldn't corral, but I think what they saw on that was that that play was wide open, and they went back to it on the 3rd play, and they haven't looked back until Sioux Falls can demonstrate some competency in reliably stuffing it. I think you'll see it.
As Hart broke off a couple of tackles, and here comes the hurry-up offense as we wind under a minute to go. I don't know why they're in a hurry, though. Anyway, the run to Hart, who waved his way through traffic and got to the 46, and they're stuck in this formation.
Might have something
for
to
better
do
or worse.
with only 40 seconds left to go in the half. That could be the impetus for the hurry-up.
Here again, they go the same play. Hart grinding his way down to the 45, and they call a timeout with 32 seconds left.
Right, yeah, they probably are one play too late on that timeout, but trying to do the Bill Belichick double dip here and put some points on the board right before halftime and then receive the kick to start the 3rd quarter, Colin.
Here's Hart, the 2nd-year running back. He's runaway offensive rookie of the year last year.
I'd put him in the wheel route right now. That's me, Mr. Vegas.
As the throw over the middle is complete to the Moose, Craig Hearn down to the 31. And they call a timeout with 28 seconds left.
Well, right now they're looking at about a 47, 48-yard field goal. That's makeable. They're going to see what else they can manufacture here to get it either a little closer or potentially stick it in the end zone. So lightning strikes.
Can't get a sack here for Sioux Falls, however. It's Tyree with that last completion. It's up to 91 yards passing. Two receivers at the top. Ray Lynn has yet to catch a pass. And here's to get to Hart. They're just maybe trying to center it.
I don't know.
And they're running the hurry up once again. Probably trying to preserve some time before they have to use the timeout. They spike it on second down with 14 seconds left.
Do they run one more play? They do have a timeout available, which they could. We'll see what they elect to do here.
I see the kicker on the field. They will kick it with 14 seconds left.
Spotted at the 32. That's 42-yarder. 43-yarder, sorry.
Out of hold of Willie Beeman. Get off at 2, and the kick is on the way from 42. He missed it!
One more play, guys.
Oh, Sammy Prefontaine. Close, but no cigar for you.
Oh, no. Just had enough distance. Just a little wide right.
Meanwhile, the Pharaohs tacked on another field goal, and now they're down a point 7-6 in that game with time remaining in the second quarter. T.D. Drew will wind up to take a big shot down the field.
Oh, he's got him!
Christie. He turns on the speed, and Christie is going to go into the end zone. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Oh my. Get out the right bread and mustard, Grandma.
Oh, my gosh. Holy cow. Totally unexpected. Well, how big is that not running one more play with a timeout left for Sioux Falls?
And A.J. Levy goes in the chat, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, for the Sioux Falls faithful, I wish we were. Indianapolis's fan base is laughing, ordering a round of drinks for everybody. With that one, they're going to go into halftime.
Breaking news. Look in the chat. Stephen Valinsky said Indianapolis is being sold to Pee Wee Herman, who intends on relocating the team to Gary, Indiana. So they'll kick off with 1 second left.
Of course, the stadium will be called Pee Wee's Playhouse. That's the alarm bell sounding on Sioux Falls sideline.
As the return by Levy he's willing his way down to the 32. So that's the end of a very entertaining first half of play as Indianapolis goes out in front of Sioux Falls 21-14.
Wow.
Halftime stats coming up. Wow, that's some amazing stat right there. 0 rushing yards for Indianapolis, and despite 4 first downs, thanks to the strength of that pick six mostly, they're in front by 7 points, despite only having picked up 4 first downs the entire half and 8 minutes worth of TOP. There's Keith Swearingen's long swing pass, and John Barnhart saving what could have been a touchdown. Alright, Colin Hart with the long 54-yard touchdown. He is on 35 yards and 2 touchdowns. Indy has not tried to run the ball one time, despite having a contracted tailback back there. Unusual strategy to say the least. There's Julian Tyree. He's at 91 yards passing, but he does have that big 6. Contributed to this team being down by 7. As Jet Christie, the signing in week 7, taking over for Leonidas Richards, while also simultaneously taking over as general manager with the long touchdown. Adam Vinchek to kick. To the Sparrows, A.J. Levy. And Levy returning all the way up to the 31-yard line. So we're just starting the third quarter.
Here in Indy. And surprisingly,
the Spitfire have 0 rushing yards, by the way. I
I
kind of knew that was coming, but it still shocked me.
Shocked, I say. I recently learned there was gambling at Rick's.
As 3-yard pickup for Colin Art. He's averaging a healthy 7.3 yards per carry.
If you haven't watched the movie Casablanca, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I've been watching the movie Casablanca.
What's wrong with you?
As
What kind of college education are you getting over there?
Tyree back to throw, swings it out to Hart, and Colin will motor ahead for a 4-yard pickup, setting up a 3rd-and-3 situation.
We'll always have Paris. Of all the gin joints and all the places in all the world, she walks into mine? Really? You don't have that line?
Mm-hmm.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Everybody knows that line.
Shocked to find gambling at Rick's. Here's your winning, sir. Thank you very much.
As the throw over the middle is knocked away by Hates, and this Indy defense buttons down the hatches and forces a punt.
Really?
Actually, no, that was Wall, who got his big paw in there and swatted away pass intended for Ray Lynn.
The rugged individualist just trying to run an honest gambling house under the nose of the Nazis. Come on. All right, back to the football. Sioux Falls' first possession of the 3rd quarter.
Ends in a punt.
Punt. We had a little bit of a mini punting contest right at the end of the 2nd quarter.
Before that spectacular scoring explosion.
Right, that punting contest was interrupted momentarily by like a 70-yard strike from the Spitfires. By the way, is there any truth to the rumor that the Spitfires actually wanted to have propeller head helmets, but the league wouldn't let them?
I think there's no truth to that.
No truth to that.
T.D. Drew lines up under center. He has 198 yards passing. And a quick drop over the middle, complete to the tight end. That is...
Who is that?
That is Dan Daly. As T.D. Drew is up to 211. Daly has been operating out a bunch seamlessly. 6'5", 260. By far the tallest and heaviest wide receiver of this crew.
Credit Drew for seeing that he was going to run himself open. He was covered like a blanket when he threw that ball. And he threw it to the open space.
They got press coverage from Sioux Falls, and they run the swing. They tried to set it up, and Swearingen only got 1.
That was almost more of a screen concept there, Colin, on that swing. Put a little swing in the swing. Swing in the swing.
Meanwhile, update from New Orleans. The Knights in front by 1 point, 14-13. Meanwhile, back on the field, Swearingen again catches the pass, but Nick Fargo says, pal, you're not going anywhere. In fact, he lost a yard. Sets up a 3rd and 10 situation for Indianapolis. Bunch to the bottom, one guy isolated to the top of the formation.
They run that swing again. If we get to see this, one of the men in the bunch on the right side of the formation ended up being uncovered with a couple of blockers in front of him. If Drew looks over to his right, he's going to hit. He could hit that person hit that receiver for a big gain.
And Indianapolis gets the punt. 3 plays and a punt.
Punt, pass, and kick going on right here again. I think Indy just needs to dial up that 70-yard bomb play.
Jake D'Antonio boots it to A.J. Levy.
You know, Indy in an interesting position that they haven't seen much of this season, where their defense is stout and holding Sioux Falls, and that's allowing Indy's offense to do some things that will set up plays later. For example, those swing passes, mind-numbing swing passes to the left side set up that strike earlier, and they may be having the luxury of doing that again here in the 3rd quarter.
As Hart again is tackled in the backfield, he lost 2 yards. Ryan Wall on the stop. Hope you all are enjoying this ball game as much as we are. I'm Colin Northup. He's Rick Northup.
Good evening.
The uninitiated.
For the uninitiated, sorry, who seems to talk over the play-by-play man's comments quite a bit. Sorry about that, Colin.
Strong eye formation. Here's a power play to the left-hand side, and Hart will pick up yardage to the 31, setting up a 3rd and 7.
Wow, what's going on Vancouver there, Colin?
Nightwings in front of the Legion 10-7. We had their first matchup earlier where Denver dropped 63.
I think Denver's still scoring in that game.
As Tyree is intercepted. Intercepted on the play by number 33, Johnny Bravo.
Well, Indy's defense is having themselves a heck of a game here after giving up a couple of scores early.
Pass intended for Ray Lynn, just underthrown.
Has Ray Lynn yet touched the ball, Colin?
I think he's been targeted once, perhaps twice.
But has he caught the ball? Has he actually have a completion? That's what I don't recall.
Here's T.D. Drew operating with 3 wide receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. That is Christie, who caught the long touchdown. Then the half, they go his way again, and Christie gets out of bounds after a pickup of 6, 3 catches, 76 yards, and touchdown for the Jetman.
Just an innocent slant, and a lot of West Coast concepts coming out of the Indy huddle right now.
Back offset to the left-hand side. 2 receivers to the bottom. 1 isolated to the top. Drew is back to throw. He goes top side, and it's complete.
Wow.
Ooh. Number 13, Trevor Farrell.
Excellent recognition by Drew there as the linebacker who had responsibility for him instead comes on the blitz. Drew recognizes it, so does Farrell, and they have an easy pitch and catch for a first down.
Here is Farrell lining up in the bunch along with number 87, Brick Hans. As the swing goes out to Swearingen, who runs over 2 people and goes forward for 7 yards.
He was dead to rights at the line of scrimmage and turns that into some production, bringing up 2nd and 2.
And the defender will go back to the sidelines and say to his coach, "Oh, that was just a flesh wound."
What is your name? Tim.
And Barnhart pops in the chat as Swearingen again gets down to the 18. John Barnhart says, "I guess we want to play on wild card day." Here's a bunch at the top, and Indianapolis is putting an impressive showing on this last home game for their fans this week as Swearingen again picks up 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Second and 3 on the doorstep. Sioux Falls needs to make a defensive play of their own. Indy has 2 in their back pocket already.
They go 2 receivers either side. Drew back to throw. Throws a duck to the end zone. Oh, it is knocked away by Jay Ringgold, the free safety.
Boy, that's
pass intended for Dale.
Very similar to the target he had on the possession earlier in the game where he made an ill-advised throw into the back of the end zone. First time the receiver was well covered. This time is in double coverage. See what they've got here as they go tight bunch on the right side of the formation.
And they go bunch again. Swing again. This time one-handed catch.
And it's short of the line. That'll bring up 4th down.
But an easy field goal attempt for Vinchek.
Probably maybe guilty of trying that left side swing pass one too many times. Boy, if they ever look to the right side of the formation,
as they line up to go for it, which is the SFL equivalent of a staring contest.
Only one time have we seen this on any of our broadcasts, Colin, actually work. Otherwise, it's the ritual burning of a timeout.
And there it is, the burning of the timeout. And,
right.
And Alan Amides, the head coach, is not going to be too happy with his rookie quarterback.
It's interesting. You see so many gritty, gutsy play calls in the SFL, and every coach to a person will try this at some point in almost every game.
I've only seen it work a handful of times.
Yeah.
The one time I did see it work with you, you and I were both surprised.
Right? We fell out of our chairs.
Meanwhile, back on the field for Spitfire.
Oh,
They'll try
snap.
a field goal. The snap was a bit janky, but it's good from 26 yards. So it's now a 24-14 ball game, so a 10-point advantage for the Spitfire.
Joy in Mudville tonight as Spitfires extend their lead. Still a lot of football to play, but, back on that 4th and short, and you line up trying to draw them offside. So, 1 divided by n, where n is some positive integer that's like greater than 100. Those aren't good odds. Come on, people. You're better off. 4th down conversions happen at a much higher rate than the draw offside stuff.
Meanwhile, New Orleans is in front of London by 2 points, 16-14 at halftime. So that result were to hold. Sioux Falls continues to trail Indy. That means Sioux Falls gets to play on Wild Card Wednesday. It's not a position where SFL coaches want to be in a tight turnaround.
London's got to focus on moving that eggplant down the field.
As Colin Hart goes behind the back to catch the swing pass, he gets 4 yards.
They got to put in the shameless plug for the SFL meetings, too, happening this summer.
In Atlanta, July 26th through the 28th.
Colin and I will be there. That's not a threat. That's a promise. Of course, Colin, maybe you're the attraction. People don't want to see me. Maybe that works out. But if you can make it, it'll be a good time.
Deep outcut is dropped by A.J. Warren. He's looking at his hands and saying, hands, why did you betray me?
Why you failed me? I'm done with you. Colin using a fun European-based accent to reprise a great scene in Major League.
As they go bunch to the bottom of the screen, Tyree taking a deep drop back against the blitz, throws, and it's complete this time, so Warren's able to make up for the redemption on the very next play. As Julian Tyree crosses the 100-yard mark, he's at 108.
Well, that's a nice, that's a good-looking play. And Sioux Falls just needs to string several of these together and get themselves down the field. There's your good hands.
Right in front of Lower and Ellison, who combine to make the tackle. You know, it's because they run the two free safeties so much, you'll see a lot of nickel variety. Excuse me. Meanwhile, back on the field, first and 10 to 48 for Indy. Here's a blitz coming from Indianapolis. It's picked up. Thrown on the middle. It's intercepted. Intercepted for the third time today. This time it's Von Siniuk for sure. And the corner.
Wow.
He threw it into double coverage as he was looking for Terwin James.
Both Spitfires had an opportunity to grab that one, Colin. Unbelievable. That's pick number 3.
Yeah, I believe so. That's pick number 3 for Tyree and Indy.
Third turnover, all in favor of Indianapolis.
And the swing out to Swearingen. He's got blockers. And he can't beat the defender one-on-one. As A.J. Levy simply goes, ugh.
Right. It's, like I said, a surprisingly lack of moves there in the open field by Swearingen. But it's still 2nd and 4. Nitpicking at this point.
Jay Ringgold says every time he throws deep.
And he's going to have somebody on a streak on the left side. Nope.
And Drew was looking for Hunter Jones and is incomplete. A little miscommunication. Throw it behind Jones. 3rd down and 4.
And I've complimented Drew several times and his receivers on recognition. But I'm beginning to think for every good, solid play that they're making, he's missing a play, and that was case in point. He was going to have somebody wide open on the sideline on the left side.
Press coverage look from Sioux Falls. Drew pumps, goes to the outcut. Oh, that was almost intercepted on a tip drill. Greg Barnhart almost came away with that one. And Antonio on the field for another Indianapolis punt.
Yep, they just they run that shallow slant. They've done pretty well with that as opposed to the swing pass here and there. But Sioux Falls, again, good recognition.
Update from Las Vegas, the Fury all over the Desperados, 31-6. And that's still in the second quarter, Rick.
Uh-oh.
Yikes.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Scarios.
And it's 24-6, Queen City in front of Baltimore. Corsairs, rare outside looking in kind of situation, do or die for the 4-time champion of the SFL.
Surprising indeed.
3-man backfield set for Sioux Falls. And things are all ponied up as Colin Hart weaves his way through traffic and carries 2 defenders a few yards past the first down marker to the 44-yard line. Hunter Jones says, well, normally I average like 1 look a game, so Not looking good for me, he says. There's a look at Craig Hearn. He's been more of a blocker than a receiver. An extra tackle there with his socks. As Hart weaving his way through traffic, almost broke open. It'll be this time for Sioux Falls. And in inches part, it won't be fourth in inches, it'll only be second in inches. There they go, that set. They go wide again, and it is blocked beautifully. First down and more. Down to the 36-yard line is Hart as clock winds under 40 seconds to go in this quarter. Just beautiful blocking on that side by Miles Portis, Ashley Anderson, or J.J. McGee.
Good recognition by Colin Hart, too. Colin Northrup, as he sort of bobs and weaves and follows his blocks for a really nice gain.
Tyree's quarterback rating is 29.8, partially due to those interceptions. He's back to throw. The deep out cut. Oh, it's incomplete. I believe Warren was the intended receiver diving, and he missed the ball.
He's thrown a lot of interceptions, but he's making up for it with incompletions. Nothing. I got nothing. Not even a chuckle. Oh, hey, no mailing it in. Boo.
We have a second down and 10 from 36, 16 seconds left in this the third quarter. Blitz comes from Indy. They pick it up. Here's the out cut up to the Moose. Craig Hearn to the Indy 25, and that'll be a first down as we approach the end of the third. No, that was to Riley Porter. Pardon me. After 3 quarters of play, you're watching the SFL presented by AP Music on YouTube. Indianapolis trying to hold on to this 10-point lead. They lead 24-14. Back on the field at the start of the fourth quarter. Sioux Falls trailing by 10 points.
They're going to triple cover the wideout on the left side of the formation.
Instead, it's a run to Hart the other way, and Colin Hart chewing up the yards.
There's your recognition by Sioux Falls that they're going to have more hats on the right side of the formation.
As he gets up to 185 with that pickup of 9 there.
Because of that misalignment by Indy in the defensive set. So 2nd and 1 in the red zone.
Here's 3 tight ends, standard pro set. And the throw. He was looking toward Portis, but he goes back the other way to J.J. McGee, who holds on despite the wicked hit from 8 for the first down.
Oh, is this close enough to make a field goal if they stall out, Colin? Oh, I'm sorry.
A field goal does help them.
Yeah, any points would, yes. Indeed. Any scoring cuts it to a 1-score game.
He said indeed, and we're watching Indy play. As Colin Hart takes it right side.
There you go.
He broke the plane. Touchdown, Sioux Falls.
There's your
the
1
Sparrows aren't quite dead yet.
Bring out your dead. Not dead yet.
Beautiful block by the Moose. Craig Hearn. Ashley Anderson finished it off too. And the Sparrows can cut it to a 3-point game pending the extra point with still plenty of time left.
We've only had 1 flag so far in this game. Fairly clean. What's going on with Pharaohs?
The score still holding that 2-point lead over London, 16-14. Extra point here is good. So at 9:54 to go, Sioux Falls is in front of Indianapolis, 24-21. And the kickoff is away. Returned up the middle, and Hunter Jones spins to the 32.
Decent return. So at the start of the fourth, got ourselves a ball game. Indy's up 24-21 over Sioux Falls. Just a slim field goal lead now. And it's Sioux Falls started out quick, scoring 14 points, and they just scored their 21st point here.
As we have 1st and 10 from 32 for Indianapolis. Here's the swing out again to Swearingen, who has to get upfield in a hurry, and he's lucky to pick up a yard. TD Drew up to 254, 2 touchdowns. Julian Tyree, pedestrian day, 122, but 3 interceptions.
Oh.
Including one that was converted into a 6-pointer.
Those picks hurt as they go tight bunch.
And they
throw behind it
again.
Somebody's not. Sioux Falls has obviously figured that out, and somebody for Indy is failing to pick up the linebackers as they stream across the face of the formation.
So the Pharaohs just scored, and it's now a 22-14 ball game. So they extend their lead by out to 8 points now. Here's Indy. Will swing again. This time no blockers in front, but he breaks the tackle and picks up the first down to Swearingen.
Wow. Nicely done to the strange side of the field there for Keith Swearingen. They haven't been running to the right, running that play to the right hardly at all. As he's able to shed that blocker and pick up a few extra yards.
We have 1st and 10 from 45. 8:43 and counting to go in this ball game. Indy in front by 3 points, but looking for a little more breathing room. 3-5 nickel look from Sioux Falls. The pass is Drew to the flat to Daly, who spins and broke a tackle on the sidelines. For a spectacular play as he gets first down yardage up to the Sparrow 40.
That fires up the Indy sideline as well.
So he did it right in front of their bench. He broke a tackle. Did a little twinkle toes routine, did the big fella.
Yeah, and I think his appearing to be stopped or stoned put a little hesitation, a hitch in the giddy-up of the Sioux Falls Sparrow pursuit, and that allowed him to sprint down the sideline.
Here's the man to the top. Drew. Swing again, and this time it'll be stopped for a 2-yard loss. Tackle made by Zeno Sika, the backup free safety.
Yeah, and he almost...
Keith Swearingen has 27 catches for 147 yards. These are beyond receiver numbers. This is just getting into the realm of absolute crazy. It's got to be single game records for running back receptions in a game.
Right.
And the throw is dropped.
Oh, that was so
Jed Christie had
so
it in his
close.
hands, but he dropped it.
It was close. Close. Oh, my. Well, there's that stretch play after lulling them to sleep with swing passes and short slants and what have you. They look to throw deep.
Jason1347 says Baltimore's down 24-9.
Oh!
Wow. Meanwhile, back on the field, his defense gets a sack on TD Drew on 3rd down to set up a 4th and 17. Big play as Mike Doss, the defensive end, comes through for the sack.
Yeah, I was just thinking a few plays ago, we haven't seen that much pressure on the quarterbacks. Just the odd sack here and there, and that's a timely one as Sioux Falls forces Indy into the punt formation. He'll let this one go from about his own 40 by the time he steps into it.
And D'Antonio.
And where are your gunners?
And, he thought he stopped, but his legs ultimately carried him into the end zone.
Slides in to second base in the end zone.
45-7, Las Vegas in front of Tulsa. But with the current Queen City score holding, it looks like Queen City will get in over Vegas.
Wow.
If the other results hold. Julian Tyree in the empty shotgun. 1st and 10, staring at press coverage from Indianapolis. Quick throw, little knocked away.
And that should have been there, boy. Everybody up on the line for Indy, save for the two safeties.
Brandon Haight playing man coverage on the big tight end. He's big himself. You know, that's a 6'5", 6'5" matchup.
Two well split out wideouts, Colin, but they're going to run.
To Colin Hart, and Hart up to the 30. He's to the 40. And oh boy, he was just about a tackle away from breaking that one. He's up to 217 now.
That's a good looking run by Colin Hart. One of many this season. Right there.
Stephen Hacker catches another long touchdown pass. He's up to 294 yards on 10 catches. For Queen City, as they are putting a hurting on Baltimore. Three tight ends against the nickel defense, standard pro set. Here's the throw out to Miles Portis, and Portis will get knocked out of bounds at the 47. That's a pickup of 7. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Nice play design as they spread the field out of the bunch, the tight formation. Indy has trouble covering it, and it leaves them at 2nd and 2. Just about midfield.
Two receivers to the bottom, and Hart will get stopped in the backfield. Charging through on the defensive front was Brian Dagger, the defensive tackle. That'll set up the 3rd and 3 as the clock winds. 5:50 and counting to go.
Dagger able to put a quick move on his man and get himself in the backfield.
3rd and 3, throw over the middle,
nice.
complete first down. That's the Canadian Moose, Craig Hearn. Meanwhile, back in the London game, the Knights just scored a touchdown. Rob Roby to James Hands to cut it to a 23-20 game.
Pending the PAT.
And over the middle, it's complete to Hearn again, who picks up about 7 yards. And it'll be 2nd and 3.
Sioux Falls content with these short play concepts, Colin, and just sort of methodically moving themselves down the field here at this point.
2nd and 3. Going deep down the field. Oh, no! Intercepted for the 4th time today is Tyree. Looking for the big tight end. And, oh, man, the defensive back, Von Siniuk, his 2nd interception of the ball game. Looking for Hearn on the corner route. No, just underthrew it.
No sooner had we complimented them on their short concept game that was chewing up clock and moving them down the field, they decided to take a shot, and it cost them. You know, we've talked about from time to time, I don't think the coaches fully comprehend just the value of focusing on moving the sticks, especially here in the 4th quarter.
As Drew throws it out to Swearingen, and Swearingen lost 2 yards. And Riley Porter says, I'm officially frustrated.
Frustrated. There's a great Knack song, by the way, the Knack lead guy coming out of Detroit. Part of that late 70s, early 80s Detroit pop rock. Frustrated. Check it out. Apple Music or Spotify. Meanwhile,
the bunch to the top. The linemen go out again, and this time Indy's just going backwards. TD Drew now down to 276. Julian Tyree, 144 yards, 4 interceptions. Somebody was asking, isn't that his third? Referring to Tyree, I believe that was Gooner Bear.
I think it's his fourth.
That was his fourth, according to our stat sheet. Third down and 14. Drew again to throw.
Oh, come on, really?
Same play 3 times in a row, and Jay Ringgold.
Lose yardage. You know, if you've got the lead and the ball halfway through the fourth or later, you got to be able to put the game away. I mean, in some sense, you deserve to win the game. If you're not able to hold on to that lead, move down the field, maybe even put more points on the board.
Meanwhile, D'Antoni. Will punt it from his end zone.
Sorry.
And it's returned by Levy, and he will yank it into Indy territory. It gets marked down at the 46.
But for the passage of time, Sioux Falls will have the ball back near where they gave it up on the previous possession. Going back to you've got the lead in the ball late in the fourth quarter. Running the same play 3 times in a row does not fit with that. We just need to pick up yardage and burn clock mentality.
2:42 left in this ball game. Sioux Falls has all 3 timeouts. They're down 3. Play action fake to Hart. Tyree goes back to Cullen, however, and he manages to pick up 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Was Hart even technically a check down? I don't know that I've ever seen the ball fake man then being the receiver basically on the line of scrimmage or just a couple yards beyond. Usually, and that was a good play fake too. Usually somebody's open medium to deep on that.
Clock running. 2:12 and counting. Julian Tyree back to throw. Pops it over the middle. There's Raylan. His first catch today. Makes a man miss with a spin move and gets down to the 24. Welcome to the ball game, young man. Glad you could join us sooner rather than later.
Raylan makes him pay, and I'll make the self-congratulatory comment by pointing out that was a short yardage concept play.
As we reach the quick 2-minute warning, you're watching the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay tuned, folks. It's going to be a crazy ride.
Will Sioux Falls be able to find the end zone for the 4th time this game? Or will they settle for a field goal? Or, Colin, will it be a 5th pick?
3 tight ends in the ball game. Split backfield for Sioux Falls. Tyree will throw. J.J. McGee got backwards and he lost a yard. Let me tell you about Quip. Quip is designed delivers simple ways to keep your mouth healthy with timed vibrations. Brush head refills for $5, refilled every 3 months. Covered for life with free shipping for life. Use the link posted in chat and your purchase will help support the SFL through our partnership. Quip, a more wholesome clean. Meanwhile, back on the field, pass intent for Miles Portis was knocked away by Steve Vitak.
That was close to a pick 6. I'm just going to say, it's, you know. It's the assembled poobah.
Meanwhile, Xander Gold just threw a touchdown pass in the Orlando-London game. We'll give you that score in just a minute. 3rd and 11. Tyree set to throw to the end zone. It's intercepted for a 5th time.
Wow.
Skying in the air to go for it is Peyton Ellison. His 2nd pick. Pass intended for Ray
Wow.
Lynn.
Absolutely at the limit of his height and actually leans backwards a little bit to pick that one up. So the parade of timeouts by Sioux Falls will begin here momentarily.
This is time to run the ball. for Indy. They got to run it now, but they'll start with a swing, which is just effective as a run.
And Swearingen smartly allows himself to be pushed down inbounds, which forces Sioux Falls to take their first timeout. And Sioux Falls is also behind the 8 ball in that it's 2nd and 4.
And Indy
Gonna throw.
reminds me of that crazy game that we
He
saw.
loses yardage and goes out of bounds, stopping the clock. Advantage swings over to Sioux Falls, I guess, at this point of the possession.
Yeah, the Rickometer.
The Rickometer is pushing back over to Sioux Falls, and this.
Meanwhile, in the third quarter, New Orleans is in front 30-21 over London. Following that Xander Gold touchdown pass. And that's effective, but the Sparrows will have one timeout left and one last shot to get some things right.
Well, somehow, Indy sitting on a 2nd and 2, 2nd and 4, manages to go nowhere. And now they're going to give Sioux Falls pretty good field position, and they'll have a timeout in their back pocket.
And the punt is away,
Almost
nearly
blocked.
blocked. Levy spinning. We'll get to the 47. The clock stops exactly with a minute left.
Levy always dangerous and well covered there by Spitfires, but you can't hide the fact that that ball's at the Indy 47.
1 minute left, one timeout left, down by 3 points. Field goal can tie the game and potentially force overtime, or a touchdown can win the game for you.
Only about 20, 25 yards away from a field goal.
And this pass is complete, out of bounds to A.J. Warren, but they picked up 8 yards. It'll be 2nd 2 as the ball goes to the Indy 40. Oh, we got a Harry's close call, close save challenge at a critical time of the game. Let's take a look. As the booth says we want to take a second look at that.
I want to make sure they get this right.
Jason McGee, Alan Amides.
Uh-oh.
I think he's out of bounds.
Uh-oh. That's your SpaghettiOs play. And here's the call.
And he was called out of bounds. So the ruling on the field was overturned.
Easiest call the Booths had to make in a long time, as both feet were out of bounds.
From shave sets to shave handles, Harry's provides quality craftsmanship. Made in Germany, we make Harry's from products from the finest materials and ingredients to ensure they can perform as well as it possibly can. Tell you more after this play. Colin Hart weaving his way all the way down the sideline to the 27, knocked out of bounds with 48 seconds left.
Somehow sneaks his way around and down the sideline, and they are in business.
As he does Swearingen one better. Back to Harry's. Use the promo code SimulationFL at purchasefromharrys.com, and a portion of your proceeds supports the SFL. Harry's, the official razor of the SFL.
And I was going to say, it looked like he may have stepped out of bounds.
Let's take a look. It's a close save, close call challenge presented by Harry's. And this is an equally critical one, especially for Jason McGee.
And
and
he's out. He might even be short of the first down.
Oh, my. And they said he stepped out of bounds. So the booth that they're not calling down all game long.
Well, one of the sort of subplots here is, who's that line judge that missed both the clearly out of bounds catch that was ruled in bounds and that?
It's a 3rd and inches play. Clock stopped at 48 seconds left. Tyree over the middle. Ball in the air. Intercepted. Oh, it was intercepted off the hands of two Sparrow defenders. And Steve Vitek says, I got the ball.
Vitek is going to seal the deal for
As
Indy.
it came off of Portis's hands. And
Well, the Sioux Falls faithful are going to be talking about that one for a while into the offseason because they've got Colin Hart, and it was 3rd and inches.
and they're going to take a kneel down. So with this result all but academic, and New Orleans beating London by 9 points, that means Sioux Falls will drop into the Wild Card Wednesday showdown against an opponent to be determined. As they will do a second kneel down to kill the rest of this clock. Sioux Falls can't stop it anymore, so Indy sends the hometown fans happy as T.D. Drew continues to do a masterful game. Keith Swearingen catches over 100 yards worth of passes out of the backfield and a touchdown. But Jet Christie, that pass from Drew at the end of the first half turned out to be the difference maker.
Indeed.
As the clock winds down, Drew takes the last knee, and it's all over. Victory has 1,000 fathers, while defeat is an orphan. Indianapolis wins 24-21. Post-game highlights coming up.
Well, and Indy gets their 4th win and mucks up in the process, mucks up Sioux Falls Day here in the last week of the regular season.
So Sioux Falls had the advantage in all the categories, except they threw 6 interceptions. Advantage in almost all the categories, except rushing. Indy finished with -5 yards thanks to those 3 kneel downs from Drew. But ultimately, it was the ferocious Indy defense. And reminder again, folks.
What do you got on that New Orleans game, Colin?
It's actually 28-30.
30-28.
30-28 in favor of the Pharaohs.
Well, if that holds, if New Orleans can hold on to that, that will drop Sioux Falls into the wild card.
So you got to be thrilled with that if you're a Pharaoh fan.
The Pharaohs.
Because you were slated in a wild card due to a head-to-head loss against the Sparrows. And, you know, for Julian Tyree, it's been a day to forget. 6 interceptions, 174 yards. Sammy Prefontaine missed that field goal toward the end of the first half. How big did that turn out to be?
Yeah, if you're Sioux Falls, all you can say is, well, mistakes were made. This was a winnable game, a makeable game. They still were down by just 1 possession.
As the ball went off the Indy defender's helmet, and J.J. McGee tried to corral that as the pass was intended for Craig Aaron before Vitek scooped it up. And the extraordinary Everest player of the game is Keith Swearingen. No carries for no yards, but 147 yards and 1 receiving touchdown. And I don't know how many receptions. That's got to be a record, like I said earlier. For those of us at the Simulation Football League, I'm Colin Northup. He's Rick Northup. Good night, everyone. We had fun with you this regular season. Enjoy the postseason. Wild Card Wednesday is coming up fast.